Hello, beautiful people! My name is Athol and this is The Chain of Seduction, where we talk about marriage relationships and getting what you want from them. And I'm going to go back to the most fundamental principle of all, and that is survival and replication. Survival and replication. And what I want you to do to begin with is imagine a single cell organism, something like a bacteria. There's one bacteria cell, and let's call him Blob. Now, Blob has to play both roles. He has to, they have to play the survival role. They have to find food and defend from other attackers, and Blob has to play the reproductive role. He has to, have enough food and divide into and make more of him. Because Blob is only a single cell, this is really efficient. All he's got to do is find some sugar, some kind of food, some kind of oxygen, moisture, and then divide in two. And his lifespan is pretty short, 20-30 minutes maybe, before he divides in two and makes more. And this is really efficient. It's not like Blob has to go on the dating marketplace with other bacteria, get to know with some of the other bacteria, get to hang out, get to meet the other bacteria's parents, see if they fit in. None of that has to happen. Just has to find enough food, survive for long enough, and then replicate and make more of Blob. It's incredibly efficient because Blob is just a single cell organism. Now what I want you to do is imagine Blob is not single cell, but is in fact a fully grown human-like creature that is that male-female hybrid sort of thing, and there are not two sexes, there's just one sex. And I want you to imagine that it is not now in the present day. I want you to imagine that Blob is living in a place that I call the time before writing. So that's some point, 10, 15,000 years ago, where there's only just the beginnings of some sort of agriculture. No one has really discovered the written word yet. They're living in small tribal groups, and spears and pointed sticks and knives are really cool modern inventions. They have fire, it's awesome. It is the new hip thing. And they're pretty much living some sort of hunter-gatherer lifestyle. So that's the time before writing. Now Blob has to do all the survival skills and all the replication skills because Blob is this hybrid of male and female. So at some point, they're going to get pregnant. At some point, they're going to deliver a new little Blob. At some point, they're going to have to breastfeed or whatever it is they do, and forage for food and go and gather for food and hunt for food and build a defensive wall and go out and go into combat and defend their little tribal village and try and create writing and science and all the advances that they're going to make. And when you're trying to do all of those roles simultaneously, it becomes incredibly inefficient, and Blob is not particularly good at any of them, because could be pregnant, could be trying to nurse an infant and build something and fight in a war against a neighboring village and hunt for food and gather for food, and it's just hopeless after a certain point. And Blob really risks failing at either the replication part, making more babies, or really failing at the survival part, just finding enough food and staying alive from predators and other neighboring villages. And if Blob fails at either one of those tasks, Blob fails completely. There are no new Blobs. So the solution that every species on the planet has found, and certainly all the mammals, is that the female side of the species has decided to specialize in the replication skill set. And the male side of the species specializes in the survival tool set. So the woman can get pregnant, they can give birth, they can breastfeed, they can lactate, they're probably better at raising the young and keeping them alive, and they have excess fat on their bodies so that they can get through breastfeeding and carrying a kid to term. But relative to the men, they are shorter, smaller, weaker, less physically able to do any of the survival stuff. And meanwhile, men have grown taller, stronger, more agile, faster, quicker, better hand-eye coordination, all for fighting and hunting and protecting, and all that extra power works great for building and building walls and building huts and making things, big heavy things with their hands. We have these two different skill sets. Both men and women want to survive and replicate. They want to be alive, they want to eat food, they want to be safe and protected, and they want to be able to have sex and make young and see them raised to adulthood to then go on and do all the same survival and replication stuff. But because we have these two different skill sets, men have a really intense need and desire and drive, motivation, whatever you want to call it. They have a deep drive to have sex with women because that's how they get access to the replication part of things. And women also have a really deep drive and need to get into relationships with men because they're gonna need the guy to stick around and defend her and make sure she's safe all the way through pregnancy, all the way through the kid being an infant, find some extra food and make sure she's not killed by predators or neighboring tribes. The women have an intense need to seek out relationship. Now that is not to say that men don't want relationships and they only want sex, and that's not to say that women don't want sex and they only want relationships. Both men and women want sex and relationships. It's just in terms of the order of priority, men tend to be, I want sex first and relationship second, and women tend to be, I want relationship first and sex second. And it's often the case, women want to feel secure in the relationship before they feel safe and secure in terms of having sex, because you have to think back to the time before writing. If she has sex, she might get pregnant, and then there's 9 months of her being extra slow, extra clumsy, needing extra calories, extra support, and she's completely vulnerable when she's pregnant. Most people, and especially most women, probably don't stand much of a chance against a lion or a tiger. And a pregnant woman just has no chance. That's just Meals on Wheels. So she's really going to want to be in a relationship before she has sex. Men are slightly different. They are going to want to have sex, and if being in the relationship is sort of the price of admission, okay. So we do want both, but it is a slightly different order of priority. So fast forward to now, fast forward to today. We are designed and adapted to live in the time before writing. Small tribal villages, hunting for food, foraging for food, gathering food, defending from predators, defending from the other villages. Today, the world is a completely different place. We have birth control, we have laws, we have police force, we have education and medical systems, we have a global economic community in which we live, which has incredibly different benefits and requirements to be a participant in. Biologically adapted for an ancient time, yet we're living in a modern world. So often both men and women are faced with a situation where the thing that they want in a partner, the thing that turns them on, that excites them, that attracts them, that draws them in, the thing that they want is really corresponding to some form of ancient wiring from the time before writing. And yet the thing that we need in the modern world, that we know we need on an intellectual level, that we know we should have, that we know we should do, sometimes those things we need aren't exactly coupled with some sort of biological wiring that really excites us and really turns us on and makes us want to be with the person that has those things that we know we need. So there can be this real disconnect between what we want and are turned on with on a biological level and what we intellectually know that we need for a modern relationship, for a modern marriage. So anyway, I think I've probably gone on enough for today. I will be following on with this sort of stuff tomorrow and the next day and here on out. So if you liked the video, please subscribe, like, share, comment, all that good internet stuff, and I will keep talking to you tomorrow.